Aloha Sydzillains! Welcome back to another episode of This and That in Stars. For number 54, I am going to be doing another movie review. As of filming this, I watched the movie yesterday, which might seem weird because it's February, but too bad, I wanted to, so I did. The film we're reviewing is called A Christmas Doodle, available on Amazon Prime. As seen in the title, this film will contain spoilers, so keeping that in mind, this is the plot description of the movie. So a woman named Hazel, she lives alone and has recently adopted a golden doodle puppy, which is a golden retriever poodle mix if you didn't know. And one of her neighbors is a father-daughter pair, Paul and Kelly. So long story short, one day Hazel decides to invite Paul and his daughter over for Christmas dinner so that neither group has to be alone. And then fast forward a year from that dinner, Paul and Hazel have got married and adopted 2 more daughters to the family. One thing I noticed when watching the film is that it definitely had a religious undertone. I'm totally fine with religion in movies, it's just not something I was expecting, which is why I'm pointing it out. There were a lot of lines along the vein of God's plan, God loves you, we love God, and anything similar to that. So before we get too much further with this review, and I talk about certain scenes, I just want to say that I have a feeling this movie is made by an independent filmmaker, and before I get into the reasons why, I just want to say that I did not know you could do that until watching this film, and therefore I looked it up. Apparently, there's a whole process you can follow, and putting your movie onto Prime is the same difficulty as getting your own books onto Kindle. Anyway, I didn't go on a super deep dive, but the link that I did look at, I'll put in the description if any of you care. Props to this family and all their effort for actually getting the film up to Prime. Now for my reasons. Number 1, every single actor in the movie had the exact same last name, which that last name is also the same name as the production company, Wright Family Films. Number 3, sometimes the acting wasn't the greatest, just in the way they spoke the line, like the tone of it compared to someone who is actually an actor. Plus, the lines weren't things people would naturally say, at least in my opinion. Who talks like that? I was thinking in a couple of the scenes. Number 4, some of the shots were blurry. And number 5, there were a couple of panos/montages that didn't really make sense. Like there's one scene, they're panning, I think they're going to end on the person's face, and then it just keeps going past their face to the Christmas tree beside them. And it just seemed overly unnecessary to pan that far. However, as I said previously, huge props to them for getting it on Prime in the first place. Writing it, acting it, shooting it, editing, everything they had to do to make the film, huge props to them. So the scenes that I want to talk about might not be in chronological order, so bear with me. But anyway, first up, we have a scene where our main characters went shopping at a store for Christmas decor. One tree costs $69, and I think they focused on that sign for a little bit too long. Like, yeah, we get it. Funny number. Please move on. Also, speaking of montages, as I did previously, they probably had random shots of decor and scenery with background music for like half the film. I didn't count exactly, but they had a lot of montages and a lot of background music. Number 3, one shot was Paul and Kelly, just the back of their heads. They're looking out at some pretty lights over the water, talking about whatever it is they're talking about in that scene, and we don't see their faces even once. It's just the back of their heads for the entire shot. Another Paul and Kelly scene where we don't even see their faces is Christmas Day. They're opening presents, and all we can see is the bass of an acoustic guitar, but blurry. Like it's just blurry wood for like at least 2 minutes as the characters are talking. And going back to what I'd mentioned previously about the religious undertone, one example of Kelly's Christmas gifts was a new Bible. That there proves everything if the dialogue didn't already. The next scene I want to mention is one time Hazel decides to watch a film. And I feel like the people making this movie have created a movie within a movie, because the movie that Hazel is watching, we get to see a little bit of it as a viewer, And it's literally just some guy who's fake fat dancing in the hallway with a Barbie doll. Like, that is not a real movie that actually exists. I swear you made a second movie just so you could shoot that scene. And also, that scene with Hazel is cut with Paul and Kelly playing Xbox Minecraft. Like, they have their split TV because it's 2 players, and you go back and forth from Hazel watching her weird movie to Paul and Kelly playing Minecraft, and the whole scene just makes absolutely no sense. The final scene that I want to specifically mention is near the very end of the film. Kelly is mad about potentially having to go to Hazel's for dinner. She doesn't want to have a quote-unquote replacement mom and have to go through what happened last year at Christmas when a different woman walked out on them. Paul tries to convince her that it's not her fault, it's his fault. You're a special kid, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't work, and Kelly runs away, leaving a note to her dad saying, "Hey, I've left, I'm not coming back." His first thought is to go to Hazel's house and get help. And it's a good thing he did, because Mabel, which is the dog's name, is able to sniff out where Kelly had gone, and Hazel follows her dog, so therefore it's the woman who's found Kelly. The scene with Hazel and Kelly in the barn probably could have been half as long and said the exact same thing, because in my opinion, they kept repeating and repeating and repeating themselves. Like, you love her, people love her, God loves her, God has plans, like, whatever it was that Hazel's lines were exactly, like, we get it. Don't say it 20 times. Also, I'm really glad the dad's first instinct was to go run and find Hazel, because I feel if it weren't for Hazel, even though his daughter didn't go that far, he still would never have found her, because the way the scenes were shot and edited looked like he was just straight useless. He didn't literally throw his hands up in the air, but that's what it felt like. How he looked, where he looked, like, it seemed like Paul was being completely useless. And maybe I'm wrong, but that was just my reading of it, and I'll praise Hazel for saving his daughter and bringing her back, because he was so happy to see her. Okay, it's now time to move on to my review of this film, and since I'm debating between 2 values on what to rate it, I'm just going to go right smack in the middle and give this movie 3.5 stars out of 10. So my explanation for giving the ranking as low as it is that I did like the plot. The plot of the movie was good. That's where they're getting most of their points. The idea behind the story was very good. And plus, I was curious as to how it ended and what exactly would happen. I didn't quit halfway through or something. Some of the scenes were bad, and that was it. They were bad. But other scenes were bad in a way that was good. They were bad in a way that was funny. I actually enjoyed what I was being shown. I also expected this movie to be a Hollywood movie when I clicked onto it, because at first, as mentioned, I didn't know you could upload your own film as an independent filmmaker. So when you expect a big Hollywood budget movie with real actors and real directors, and then you get some random family, it's not the same vibe. And that's okay. Independent movies are fine. It's just that this one wasn't done the best, in my opinion. The acting was monotone. Some of the shots weren't the best, but as I've already stated numerous times in the film, I applaud them for trying. I applaud them for the effort of making it. Like the concept of uploading your own film to Amazon, that itself gets 10 out of 10, but we're not reviewing the concept of uploading independent films to Amazon. We are reviewing this one particular movie. And also, going back on my previous point and elaborating just a little bit, I do really like independent films when they're done right. I've been to Banff Film Fest twice with the Rangers. Those movies are phenomenal. It's just this one, as I mentioned, had some monotone acting, some blurry shots, overuse of montage. Like, the plot was great. The curiosity kept me intrigued that I made it through the whole 50 minutes. But it's not something I'd want to watch again. And it's not something I can justifiably recommend to you. So I'm not going to give it a high rating. I can't stop you if you want to watch it, but I'm not going to tell you you should, the way I have with previous films. That concludes my movie review on A Christmas Doodle. Hopefully you didn't find it too harsh and I had enough positivity mixed in with my honest truth. So if you enjoyed it, please drop a big like down below. Subscribe if you're new so you don't miss any of my future content. Check me out on social media, linked in the description. And aloha till next time.